Right, so today you join me on something completely different. Not our normal thing at all. Can't take my glasses off, can't see a camera. Can do, don't need to see a camera. So basically, parked behind me is my father-in-law's 64 plate, low mileage, Subaru Forester X-Turbo, twin-bi-turbo petrol automatic thing. Let's be honest, it was a very expensive car and it's not been the best of cars. It does like standard Subaru stuff, wheel bearings, does like a wheel bearing, does like a drive shaft end. But this time, it lit up about a month and a half ago like a Christmas tree. So we're going to go inside it and I'll show you what the fault is. And then, because at the time I was immensely busy and also that is modern and a nightmare, I was trying to avoid getting involved. As you will see, that has not worked because it is here. So we're going to we got sent quite a good piece of diagnostic equipment the other day to try, which communicates. I've diagnosed this already, but I'm going to explain my diagnosis, and it's also been to a Subaru main agent, which is quite a scary experience. And we'll go through the entire story, and we're going to try and fix it. And I reckon, hopefully, I can fix it for about 65 quid's worth of bits. Possibly, instead of the £9,500 that they wanted for the gearbox. That is the problem. Right, so we'll quickly hop in this thing. Now you'll see, obviously automatic, multifunction steering wheel. It has the flappy paddles. It has a load of annoying, complicated electronics on it. Now this car is obviously keyless entries and keyless start. So you have a start button, which I will push here. Comes alive, and then basically we shall hit it and she is up, and then you will see we have flashing automatic gearbox light, engine management light, ABS light, hill descent failure and skid control failure, and then up here we have engine control failure, vehicle dynamic control failure, hill start assist failure, and then it goes off. Now it does, for all intensive purposes, still move. So down here you'll see it's automatic. Now this is a CVT Subaru automatic gearbox, not like a clutch control pack one. So inside, under here on the back of the gearbox, it's basically some big controlled cones, a metal link belt and a hydraulic pack that controls all of this. Now you can see at the moment everything is in fail. The sport mode, the whatnot mode, she is a very unhappy girl. So what we need to do in a minute, we'll plug it in, diagnose it, because it still drives, but obviously it's no use like this. That is a list of MOT failures when it comes to it, and at current it does sort of change gear, but it's not very happy, and I mean everything is just upset. So as you'll see, it's not very happy. Now what we did get sent a while ago, they've been hanging the death out of me, is one of these. Now this is a little launch scanner. So what I'm going to do is, this is about the only thing at the moment, because our Delphi one doesn't like the Subaru, gets very upset, and then the slightly older launch one we've got doesn't like the Subaru. I'm going to show you this one, because this one talks to a 64 plate Subaru perfectly. Right, let's move this and tip it up properly. So basically, the back of the jumbuck, this is the little launch machine they sent us. So it was a freebie and they have been agging the death out of me. Now it is in quite a sturdy metal sort of plastic case with some bits over it. And if I click this a minute, one thing it is really good for is my lord, the battery lasts on it. And then underneath this bit of the box here, there's a load of guffy paperwork that obviously as mechanics we haven't read. And then you have this, what I call a VIC. So that's, it's Bluetooth or whatever between the two. So there's your OEBD2 port, obviously your control unit, they're both thing, and then you'll see the little tablet is booting up. So I am going to go and take this thing over here, and plug this into an upset Subaru. Oh, so where is the upset Subaru plug-in? It's here somewhere. It always takes me ages to find it. Upset Subaru plug-in is there. That way round. Get in there. You know you want to. Plug in. Don't plug in. Just don't do it. That'll be even more helpful for me. Let me swap hands. Right, where is the Subaru? Oh, I've got it all the way around. That's it. Right, so you'll see our little Bluetooth Wi-Fi dongly thing is alive. Now we need to click our Subaru. We're going to bring the dash up. Come on, Mr. Subaru, go again. Right, the Subaru is on, obviously not running. Making worry noises. And then hopefully over here, don't even try it. It'll be.
All it is a big blur.
Yeah, just you do panel work. You stay away from complicated. So you'll see my my little tablet. It's in quite a good case. I mean, that is mechanic proof if needs. Has come alive. So, and I prop this somewhere. So we're going to go intelligent diagnostics so that I don't have to bother trying to find the chassis number. Exciting this, isn't it? So we should go Nissan, if it's Subaru. Yes, diagnostic, that's what we want. So see, 2013 Forester model and its chassis number on the bottom there. Area select. North America, Japan, Europe. Let's go Europe. Yes, very good. Communication in progress. Right, system selection. As we know, it is going to be transmission. There's transmission. So, read fault codes. So, basically, that's the only store which is torque converter, clutch pressure control, solenoid open circuit. Yep. So this gearbox underneath, the variable cones, are controlled by a bank of solenoids. Now, that would pretty much say that the torque converter lock solenoid has failed, is open circuit, and that basically has caused everything else on this to shut itself down. I mean, we can go back into, let's go, we've got brake control, transmission, tyre pressure monitoring, airbag, keyless access. I mean, it has got everything here. Where is me go and talk to the engine bit? Am I in the wrong bit for engines? Engines, right at the top. So if we go into the engine, this is quite a fast little machine. So transmission control system, so basically it's saying that the transmission control module, which is in the front there, has tripped the engine management light. So it's put a MIL request in to the car's ECU. So there's nothing in there apart from the fact that the engine management light is on, because the gearbox ECU, the transmission control module, which you just said, has asked the engine management computer to stick the ABS, to stick the engine management light on. And now if we come back again, let's go into brake control, because obviously we've got a load of ABS codes as well. So I know what these two codes are basically. So these two codes, so ECM and the automatic transmission. So basically the transmission and the engine control module are telling the ABS pump we ain't happy, we got a fault, and same again to chuck ABS light on, shut the hill start down, turn off the flappy paddles. Basically everything is out. So what we are going to do, we're going to go back here again, we'll go back into the transmission. So this is the code that we need to sort. So I'm going to spin this camera around a minute and I'll explain what we're going to do next. So basically, it's not a bad little machine. They have offered to send me one of those discount codes. I will stick it, if I've got it by the time, in the description for this video. If not, I'll have updated it at some point. I'm quite impressed. I'm not trying to flog you one. I'm not on any commission. I'm not really interested. I mean, it was quite a nice freebie for us, but I am quite impressed with this little launch machine. I mean, I'm assuming it's a genuine launch. It came from King Bolan launch. So we're going to chuck that in there a minute because it is quite bash proof. It's definitely owl proof. Turn it off, power off, because we no longer need that. Right, so this is what's happened so far with this vehicle. So obviously it ended up at our local Subaru dealership. Now, they tested the wire into the gearbox, which was fine. I mean, they have tried, bless them, and they gave it back and said it's going to be one or two things. It's the gearbox control pack failed, which is like a big hydraulic unit with all those solenoids bolted in the bottom of the gearbox under there, or otherwise the gearbox has failed. So the control pack, Subaru do not tell that one failed solenoid, which is changeable, separately. You have to buy 1,150 quid or 1,180 quid plus the VAT, the whole control pack, which you don't actually need. So they had it back in again. I think they drained the oil out of it and they were like, ooh, the oil's got some tiny bits of metal in it, and then said it needs £9,500 worth of gearbox plus the fitting. And then we're like, oh yeah, but we'll buy it off you. And you were like, yes. So basically, because this is a CVT auto box, so the easiest way to think about a CVT or to explain it is to go back to a DAF Varimatic years ago. If you had two traffic cones pointing at each other with a belt running on them, belt moves one side or the other depending on the torque loads, that basically the belt going smaller cone one end, climbing the cone the other, changes or adapts the gear, the output ratios. So in theory, this gearbox is seamless, stepless. There are no real major mechanical changes. There are no pack changes. But what they have done to this is made the collars that control the two CVTs controlled by a hydraulic pack, so you can flappy paddle it and feel like you're changing gear, which is the bit that's failed. So the actual, it's got a set of massive cones and a big metal belt joining the two cones. So one would assume that at sort of 70 or 80,000 miles of a metal belt running against two metal pulleys in a gearbox full of oil, you're going to have ended up with some bits of like glitter and stuff in your gearbox. It can't not, basically. It's not a rubber belt, it's a metal one. So what we're going to try is, Al has found you can buy a really cheap, nasty solenoid off of eBay, but if you read any of the forums, they're poop and they last about a month. This is quite a common fault, apparently. But there is an American company, I will put the link in the description, who make a better quality solenoid at about 65, 70 quid. I got mine off of Amazon. It is due here on Saturday, finally, after a bit of a wait. So we are going to try. It may not fix it. It may be mechanically done. But for the fact that that £10,000 bill and trying to find, there's lots of these more modern Foresters, diesel blown up because they weren't very good at all. Gearboxes, but I can't find at the current a 2-litre petrol automatic turbocharged one. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift this car up. We're going to pull the gearbox pan off. There are two, depending on which car you have. Some of the gearbox control solenoids come out at the top. That's just the 2-litre petrol cars. The 2-litre, 2.5-litre turbo ones, you pull the pan taken out at the bottom. So we're going to lift it up, drop the oil, pull the valve control block out of it. We might as well, for the 65 quid and the effort and a bit of oil, try seeing if putting the solenoid in clears the code, if it then functions, and if it's going to work. And then let's be honest, if it is emitting bits of metal, if it lasts another 8 or 10,000 miles before it cacks itself completely, we're on an upper. Or if it's still dead, we've only wasted 60 quid and we're going to have to go and try and find a gearbox or call it a day. But it would be a shame to throw it away. My father-in-law loves the horrible thing. And it, as you say, it's clean, tidy, and it has not done a lot of miles, and it was like a year, 2-year-old, £35,000 car. Right, here it goes. Right, so here you will be able to see, he said, offending auto box. Now we need to get this pan off to have a look inside. Now supposedly, some Subaru dealership have been in here, but if you look at these bolts, no one has undone those. This pan has not been off of here at all. So I think they've had the drain bung out that's about as far as it's gone. So we're going to pull the fluid. I'll try and position the torch so it doesn't blind you. Pull the fluid out of it. And we've got a nice clean tub for that. Not that we're going to put it back in, but we want to see what could possibly, if anything, be in it. And then I would have said that's going to be a 14, isn't it? Because it's Japanese. And then we'll get whipping all these 10mm bolts out around the outside of this pan. So basically, there's not a lot been done there. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing on the end of that plug. That fluid's not new. They must have put the original back in because there's no way it would be that colour after 3 or 4, not even that, 200 miles. So I don't think there was an awful lot of effort put into that. Put a 10 grand gearbox in it. Yeah, great. I want that one down there, I want that one. Right, while it's draining, we'll get having most of the bolts out. Yeah, definitely they have not been out. Can you see the rust coming off around them? So they didn't open this up at all. It fills you full of some hope. And that fluid actually is pretty clean. So I think what we've done is maybe check the wiring to whatever wiring plug it is. I don't think they've even done that. No. I don't think they've done anything. I mean, none of these connectors have been off. I think you'll find that was a tell him it's knackered Jim. I mean, there's no filings, no nothing in there. Right. Good job we didn't sell them that then, wasn't it? Which we obviously weren't going to. Cheeky shitbags. Excuse me, French. Oh, let's have that off of there. Yeah, no way. You can normally tell with a bolt because as soon as you hit it with a socket, it shinies up the edges. And there is so much dirt on here that this has not been out of here since God was a boy. Or since it was put together in a Subaru factory by the look of it. Right, are we all out? I think we are. Let's try not to lose those. Yeah, you haven't been off of there recently, have you? I've got one left. Oh, we have got one left. I'm slipping. Right. Doing well. Right, let's have me bucket back here a minute. We'll make a hideous mess. At least we know where to put the tray. Oh, and that thing's great. Good start. Thank you, Torsion Bar. It was really welcome. Have we got any big lumps of metal on the magnet? No. I mean, there's bits of filings there, but up in the top of here is the CVT chain, so you'd expect that. Right, one out. So this is the gearbox suction filter, which also doesn't look like it's been out of here for years. That will have a load more oil behind it that we can spread all over the floor. Yes, like a skating rink by the time I've finished here, Fudgy. I am doing well. I'll just add a bit more in the mix. Yeah, there's no big massive chunks. Be honest, that can go in there because that ain't going back on anyway. Right, I'm going to have a quick oil mop up a minute, seeing as I've made a really manky mess all over the floor. Then we'll get back to not falling on my face. So we need to get you. I'll move you guys. You can have a look at this pack. Well, you'll see here that basically this is the said gearbox control pack where the solenoids are. The solenoids are above. And Subaru do some sensible things. Now, as far as I can remember, the bolts that hold the valve pack into the gearbox are black. And the ones that hold it together are a goldy colour anodised. So we need to take the black ones out. We're going to need to unplug this cable in a minute. We've got a couple of ones tight over here so we can catch it as it comes out. And then basically we need to strip and clean. Now this gearbox to me does not look horribly full of metal filings. There is some silver and I'm not going to deny that. But this thing has a let me just hook my whizzy gun up again. This thing is metal chain CVT. So basically, it's going to have some bits of metal flake, not flake in it, but if you, it'd be quite surprising to see it without. Because obviously it's a wearing metal band driving between the two CVT colours. So let's give it a bit of a, because there is going to be oil, there's oil going everywhere. Now this needs to come off. I want to figure that out. I don't really want to break the clip. How do you come out of there? Oh, I see. Push you in, pull that, that's the one. Basically, this is the whole solenoid control block doing it all. So this will come straight out the bottom without unhooking anything else off of the gearbox. We're down to one more and it should go all a bit floppy. Oh, has to stay there because we don't want you leaping out of your own accord. Are we all out of black bolts? I reckon you. We must have some more here somewhere. What else have we got holding that on? I reckon you two stand a chance, don't you? Let's have a look. Where's my torch? Yeah, on that plate. Nope. Nope. You just pop off of there as you come out, don't you? You're out. I do wonder if you're going through. Yes, you do. There's my final bolt. Where's my tub? I've got more oil coming out. Lots more oil coming out. Singing in the rain. Just singing in the rain. What a wonderful feeling. I'm happy again. Nothing like being covered from head to foot in transmission oil on a Thursday afternoon. Makes your day better, you know, Fudge.
You need it for pouring into your hair.
Oh, no, I've got a bit of it in my hair for sporting reasons already. Ooh. Right, you're going to come out, Mr. Gearbox thingy. Yes, there we go. Don't drop the dog's dickle. And grab that again. It'll be absolutely fine. So you'll see here, this is the removed pack. So this would be the top. We're going to need to give this obviously a damn good clean. So here are your control solenoids, and it is that one there. That there is the failed one. That's the torque converter lock-up solenoid. We will test the continuity on the wiring, but I'm pretty confident that it ain't going to be the wiring. It will be the lock-up solenoid. It always is. So you've got these poxy little plastic caps that you have to ping off sideways without breaking. That will, you've got to watch that little rod there, basically, and then we need to get in here, and you'll see this has a little carrier over it. So what I'm going to quickly do in a minute is scooch these three bolts out. If I've got to take them all out, or can I get away with three? I can get away with, no, I can't get away with three. I think I've got to take them all out. So I'll take the carrier off, and then that'll allow me to remove this solenoid here. But it isn't killer difficult, and I reckon that, hopefully, all being well, with a bit of a clean up and a new filter, will cure this and not have to spend £9,000 on a gearbox. Video is back on. Where's my torch gone? Oh, that was a sensible place to leave it. Everything I own is covered in gear oil.
Just about the safety. You've got a torch there, Ralph.
Oh, sorry, slight interlude there because Mrs. Diesel phoned up. Apparently someone had thrown some valuable piece of jewellery she'd left on the side in a bag away. I did blame Dave. Right, so we're back to it. We'll release this little cage there. You'll see that a minute ago. Oh, there are bits of Subaru escaping everywhere. We need that. Come back here. So let's not blind you with a torch. We've got the bolts. We want that on top. And then basically this little beggar here, you have to sort of lever all this out. You're going to come through that hole like you're supposed to. Out you come out. Delicately done. There we are. That horrible little thing there is the torque converter lock solenoid that has failed. That one and that one. So there you are. That's most likely the cause of me extremely expensive gearbox failure. So I will get my multimeter out just to check that the wiring is good. I mean, there's no contaminants in here. I'll pop you two back in for a minute because all this will need to be screwed back together. I'm going to leave that sat there. We'll clean on all of this before we put it back together. I'm just waiting on the new replacement one of these to turn up from the Americas, and then we'll fit that, clean this pack to death, put a new oil and a new filter in it, and then I reckon this car will function again. Right, multimetering.
A few moments later.
Right, so we have had parts deliveries and bits over the weekend. Well, we haven't. We had this solenoid on Friday when we started this. So this is obviously the offending article that we had taken out. Yeah, I have bent this one out because they all look the same. There's a little rubber ring around you have to pop off, and you'd seen me a minute ago take all this stuff out here, so I have fitted me new solenoid. It is in there. And basically, I got this one from a company called Dorman. I think they are the Americans company. Ooh, don't know, it could be in Spanish. Anyway, so basically Dorman is the recommended replacement because you cannot buy this part from Subaru. They won't sell you this, they'll only sell you that. So that's about 65 quid. That's 1180 plus the dreaded. So the things we need to do now, obviously the gearbox pan is sat there as we saw a minute ago. It's got a little bit of goo on the magnet, but I don't think there's anything in there that's going to worry me at all, so that will need cleaning to death. But I need to clamp this locker bar back, put the wiring harness back where it needs to be, put all those bolts back in, and we need to clean this. There's a little, the Dorman one comes with the cover cap and all the bits new, so that's all got to be clipped in there. And basically we'll put it back together as it should be. And then I'll just zoom in a minute so you can see exactly which solenoid I have changed. So this is a reassembled, obviously valve pack needs cleaning. So that is the offending, that's the torque converter lock solenoid there, you'll see. That's the original Subaru one. And Dorman replacement. I mean, it does say these Dorman ones are actually made in China, but hopefully they're slightly better quality because they were more expensive than the £12 one you can buy to replace this that apparently fails. So we've screwed all that back down in there. The carrier cradle is on, the tabs are on. So basically now I need to clean this to death, clean the pan to death. And I'm going to put this back in first. Plug it in and see if the code clears before we go for putting all this in, because the oil and the filter for this vehicle are about 265 quid. It's quite expensive, so if this doesn't clear then we don't need to drain it again. We can try and clear the code on the vehicle without starting it, which isn't a problem. If the short circuit to ground on this goes, then we're away and we put all that back together. So we're going to do the same procedure basically to the inside of this box at the bottom here. We will literally just try and flush any of that old oil and snot out the bottom of it. Give it a bit of a, ain't going to hurt it. A bit of a wipe round and a clean up, and then we've got to get this edge scraped down. We'll do that before we put the pack in. Get this all cleaned off, mainly because we don't want any of that floating around in here. And then, as I say, before we put it all back together for its finals. Now the Subaru dealership have apparently checked all the wiring to this box, so we're pretty confident that that works. But where's me stop seizing up pump sprayer? I'm pretty confident that bit will be fine, but before we commit to a load of oil in here, let's Dan will make sure, because the car will not know, we're not going to start it obviously, that it hasn't got any oil in it, but it will know if this is still running open circuit. So we'll where's my charge? There's my charge. So we'll clean this up. I mean, it's not dirty in here at all, but it's always good practice to just make sure you can see the CVT there. So there's the chain and the two variables. There's one, and then there's one up above in there with the guide on it. I mean, all of that is clean and looks pretty respectable. So I am quite confident, hopefully, that this will go and behave and do stuff like it was supposed to do. So you see, so that chain wearing against here, you are bound to get, with all that whapping round, a little tiny bit of metal swarf in here because it's metal parts wearing against each other. We'll just check that the filters and the bits are good. That is a little filter in there, so we will pick that out a minute. Very gingerly clean it. It's a little tiny filter here. Can you get that out of there? Come on, Subaru. Yes, you can. So tucked up in the corner of the box here. Ooh. He said dropping it. It's a little tiny swarf filter. Now, apart from the fact I've put dog hair on it now from dropping it on the floor, you can see there is nothing in that. So we'll just quickly scooch over it with some brake cleaner. So that's a good sign because there's no big chunks of metal in there. This will not have been out since it was made new because the bottom of this gearbox has not been off. So she can go back up in there. Perfect. Right, we'll get throwing this back together once I've drunk my coffee. Right, last bit in. So I'll put the new gearbox suction filter on. And that's the last of the internal bits. And I'm going to drop the car down, fire up our little launch machine, which I'll show you again. Say there is a link in the description for a discount on AliExpress, because they have been agging me to death about it. It's the downside of all this YouTube stuff. Everyone always says, oh, don't do the car verticals, and the YouTube never pay very well. And in case you haven't noticed recently, all the little small channels are suffering quite badly. That they all go on about algorithms and crap and rubbish, YouTube, but to be honest, it's a software program for a firm making an awful lot of money out of selling advertising on the content that we produce. So in theory they make more money out of the people that get 1 million views than they do out of the little people like us that get, I mean, across this weekend we were down to 5,000. It does seem to be a bit of an across the board thing. I mean, if you watch Furious Driving, poor old Matt is struggling. He's got over 100,000 subscribers and his is right down. You do make you think sometimes it's a little bit not quite what it's supposed to be. And the sponsorship stuff does top things up. So if we end up with a car vertical advert, understand that this is free. And not that I've even spoken to car vertical. And the same with the scanners and the bits and bobs. I mean, I had Carly trying to pay me money to sell you Carlys. I've got a Carly, they sent it to me. I haven't really used it. But if I do and I think it's any good, I'll tell you so. But I don't like being fenced into a corner where they're like, oh, you need this script and you've got to do this. And you're like, yeah, sorry. But on the upside, the money in this incredibly expensive country that we live in, because Britain has gone to the dogs, in case you haven't noticed, does make things easier, because it's all a bit tight. I'm sure it's a bit tight for you lot as well. You're like, Jesus Christ, what happened to that sort of money stuff? I mean, I reckon a £20 note's worth the equivalent of about £3 from 10 years ago. They're just useless. They don't buy you nothing. Anyway, so we'll go back to this, dropping the car down. We're going to plug the scanner in. We'll fire the scanner up, see if this code clears. Hopefully it does. The code clears. Clean the gearbox oil pan. Slot that on there. Throw 250 quid's worth of oil in it. It's £55 a litre. And £45 a litre for the proper stuff. And then we'll top her right up, and then we'll see if she's going to behave. The main thing is to see if this short circuit to ground code in the ECU goes, because it won't know it hasn't got an oil pan and any oil here. Hopefully, or even if that does generate a code, as long as it start it, it's not going to hurt it. Stunning plan, stunning. Right, so ignition on, module dongle plugged in. Let's see if we can get all this stuff to go away. If not, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board, but I am confident. Scooby-Doo. It's a good little machine, this. They're about 450 quid by the look of things. They sent me the link for off AliExpress. I didn't think that was bad. I mean, we are assuming it's a genuine launch. I don't think there's much difference between a genuine launch and a area selection. North America, Europe. And technically a fake launch. I don't know the difference, but it's a launch. It works. System selection. Transmission module. Can we get rid of all the annoying transmission codes? Read fault codes. Torque converter solenoid. Right, back one. Clear fault memory. Yes. Turn ignition on, engine off. Yes. Turn the ignition off for 15 seconds. Ignition off. 15 seconds. Wait 15 seconds. Okay, turn the ignition switch on. Okay, and has my fault code gone? It says pending. I reckon we might be all right there. Right. I think we're going to have to go for putting oil in it, starting it up and trying it. I'm going to get on and clean this to death. I mean, my code has changed, so but not gone, but it may need to be started running and have to figure it out for itself. So we are going to take the chance that all is good, and if worst comes to worst, luckily enough they did supply this. It's a Febbeat filter with quite a nice proper rubbery gasket, which will be better than some horrible load of silicon based rubbish. So I'm going to get cleaning this to death now, make sure everything is out of here, and we'll put it back together, put some oil in it quickly, and then we'll fire it up and see if it's going to behave. We've got about 5.5 litres of transmission fluid in it. We need to start it, run some more fluid into the torque converter, lift it back up again, see if we can get any more in there. We should be able about another 3 litres, I think, according to the Tinterweb. So basically, We'll have a bit of a run through the gears. Away, aren't we? Right, so we need to do the last of the oil filling with the vehicle running to get the temperature up, the transmission up the temperature to get the code to clear. Basically, by the sound of it, we shall keep pumping oil in here till it comes out of it when running. We need the temperature up to about 90 degrees, the gearbox temperature sensor up to about 90 degrees before, hopefully it will reset itself and clear code. Thank you, Subaru. What a brilliant idea that was. Ba, ba, ba. Don't want to waste any of this oil because it was jolly expensive. Not quite yet. She does take a lot of the oils, doesn't she? More of them. How many have I got left? 3. And the most difficult to get off oil caps in the world. Give it here, hateful thing. Really? Who designed that? Okay. It must have been a good day when they built that one, because that one comes off. I'm melting a hole in my pipe, aren't we? Yeah. No, still not full, but you're going to take all of it, aren't you, you greedy thing? Every last bit. exciting, this, isn't it? I'll cut a lump out so you don't have to watch all this. I reckon this is going to take every bit of oil that I've got, which is, I suppose, fine. It's 265 quid's worth.
Within possibly it's difficult to remove caps.
Right, last one, Mr. Scooby-Doo. There we go. Yep. Right, she's a full. Mecky bugger. You like making a mess all over my bloody workshop, don't you? Oh, nothing like having a fill bung above a 300 C exhaust as well. Right, there we go. Now hopefully it'll be up to temperature in a minute. We'll run it through the gears a bit. You get oil over the exhaust, that's going to stink a bit, but it's part of life, and we'll drop it back down again. Have another go. Right. We are 6.5 hours later. Our local Subaru dealership, who are Woolham Bovington Motors, they're not really a Subaru dealership. They got the franchise fairly recently. They're not very good. So they've seen me earlier fill it up with oil after I could not clear those codes. So we still had the same torque converter lock solenoid problem. We were like, what's going on here? This makes no sense, because basically we'd paid Subaru quite a lot of money to check all through the wiring, which the wiring for the gearbox comes up down there. There's a big multi-pin clip, 2 of them. One does the selector and a degree of sensors, and the front one runs all of the gearbox solenoids and some other sensors. Oh, they've done a beautiful job of that. So what they've done, I was starting to look a bit icky when I looked up doing the gearbox level, and you could see a piece of cut-off sheathing, the heat-proof stuff, off of that harness, sat lying on top of the starter motor. So I stripped this intercooler out, because I couldn't get it to, it was no different than it was before. And then there was a load of blue electrical tape wrapped round one of the sets of wiring. So I've spent 5 hours, pulled all that apart, ohms tested. I re-stripped the gearbox just to check that I hadn't got anything wrong, traced the wires out of the gearbox, basically sort of around between 13 and 16 ohms resistance coming out of the gearbox, solenoid perfect. There was nothing wrong with the other solenoid. His resistance is low, admittedly, but changed all the way up to here, behind here, green wire, ohms resistance. You could see where someone had been poking at it with a multimeter. And then you other side the plug, nothing, wiggle the plug, come alive. Let the plug go, go out. Wiggle the plug, come alive. Let the plug go, come out. You're like, really? Have I just wasted the best part of 500 quid because you muppets couldn't work out that one of the pins in the plug was broken? Which is what I've just done. So basically I have removed that wire out of the loom, run a new one, clean up into the bulkhead by the computer, just to get rid of any possibilities of break in that section there, rejoined it, soldered it all up. It's perfect. This machine is brilliant, 400 quid, buy yourself one. Without this, I wouldn't have got there. Honestly, what is wrong with the motor trade? Do they not train people to look at things anymore? Monkeys. That cost 550 quid and they had it for 2 days. And what they did was crap. I mean, he couldn't even find the right coloured electrical tape to wrap it up in, and it was poorly a thing. Honestly, it drives me around the bend. Anyway, it is now 6, and this Subaru works beautifully. I will bring you with me to demonstrate. I'm going to go inside, I'm going to turn it on, and everything is back alive again. And to be honest, everything has been back alive again about 2.5 months ago. Some muppet could use a multimeter. Right, so here goes. Foot on pedal, press intelligent start, as long as I've left the key in it, which I have. Ta-da! Ta-da! We have the fluffy pedals. Not that it likes me doing that. We have the intelligent and sport modes. We have a perfectly good gearbox that works. Everything is live. No messages up on there. So £7,000 plus the fitting, the quote was. Good job they didn't do it. Right, so after all that, done. So basically, if your gearbox solenoid goes out, which actually is a common fail, gives the same code, it's a P2663 or 37 or something.
Make sure you check your wiring plugs first. And don't pay your Subaru dealership to check your wiring plugs, because that'll work really badly for you.
Because that'll lead you off completely in the wrong direction. What I should have done was ignored everything they'd done and started at the top. But I was reasonably confident that, seeing as they'd had it for 2 days, one after the other, and also claimed that it was at least a gearbox hydraulic pack, that was 1,800 quid. Good job we didn't pay for that. And then they come back the next time they'd had it in, because they'd had it back for further diagnosis, to say that the gearbox was buggered, and the gearbox was £7,000, and basically it wasn't worth the repairing. I mean, I am technically a capable mechanic. Do you know I don't have one mechanical qualification at all? I think I could claim time served and an ability to think through things. To be honest, as I said a second ago, you need to read data. And that little machine, I was whizzing up the road after I'd had a bit of a head fit earlier, after wasting all that time to be no different and being completely confused. And the machine will run a degree of live data. And I could get no torque lock changes, nothing. The car wouldn't relearn its gearbox or nothing. And you were like, it's got to be a wiring break, because I mean, the likelihood of getting a bad new solenoid is really unlikely. Didn't need any of that. Admittedly, on the upside, it's just had a gearbox service. It's done, we'll go and have a look. I can't remember what she's done on the miles. What are we? We just hit 90. So basically, the gearbox service I can deal with. That it could have done with a filter and some oil, because they didn't change that. They told us it wasn't worth putting new oil in it when they put it back together, because it was broken and dead. And to be honest, that solenoid is due. It normally fails about 120,000 miles. So, after an exciting day, I'm going to go and take this back to my father-in-law. I've had to order some new suspension bushes for the front, because it's clonking like a good one. But we'll do that in the next couple of weeks, and I will go and shout at Subaru, because I'm quite cross. That was just a waste of time. They could have found that a month ago, just by putting a bit of effort in. Anyway, thank you very much for our Thursday Fixed It video. 60 diesels.